welcome to the Marley Bird YouTube channel. In this video, I'm going to show you how to make the perfect poncho. This poncho is one of the easiest patterns I've ever come across. You will just work this simple stitch pattern across the length of the poncho, and you will make two identical panels. Those two panels are sewn right at the top for the shoulder, and you're done. This is a very easy pattern, great for beginner crocheters and intermediate crocheters. You simply need some lovely red heart Colorscape yarn, a size K crochet hook, and of course the free pattern, which is available at redheart.com. I've put a link to the pattern in the video description box right down there below. While you're down there, please smash that like button, as my kids say. Once you have the pattern and your materials, join me back here. We will jump in and learn this really simple stitch pattern so that way you can make your very own perfect poncho. The perfect poncho stitch pattern is very similar to what we would call like a granny stitch sort of stitch, but instead of using double crochets all the time, we also use trebles. So there are doubles here and trebles here. It's a very simple pattern, and the stitch multiple for this pattern is 3 plus 2. So as long as you do a stitch multiple of 3 and then add 2 chains, you should be good to follow along with the instructions. That's what we're going to do now. I'm using the colorway Bangkok of the Colorscape yarn, and I will begin with a slip knot on my size K or 6.5 millimeter hook. Let's go ahead, and I'm going to just chain my multiple of 3 plus 2. If you're following along with the pattern, make sure you chain the amount that's written in the pattern so that way you can get the correct size. I do want to mention that this pattern is sized from a small to a 3X. Once you have your chains completed, we jump in with row 1, which has us place a single crochet in the second chain from hook, and then a single crochet in each chain all the way to the end. So I am just simply going through the chain and making my single crochet. Make sure I get my last one here. There we go, and we are at the end of row 1. This is the right side of our fabric, so if we want to, we could go ahead and grab a stitch marker and place this right into a stitch here. I'm just placing it into a stitch, so that way I know that's the right side. I will go ahead and turn my work. And this is where I jump in with row 2. I chain 1, single crochet in the first single crochet, and this is where there's a star in the pattern. The star in the pattern means this is the part that we will repeat all the way down the row. So we will chain 3, skip 2 stitches, and single crochet in the next. Chain 3, skip 2 stitches, and single crochet in the next. Because I'm just using a small amount of stitches here, I am already to the end of mine. Yours will take a little bit longer if you're working the poncho itself. Let's fix that little mistake there. There we go. So there we go. We're at the end of row 2. Row 3 has us turn our work, and we begin with a chain 3, and this counts as our first double crochet here and throughout. That's important because that means we will actually work a stitch into that double crochet when we come back to it. We carry on with the pattern, and we will double crochet in the first single crochet, and then we're going to do a small shell in each single crochet across to the last stitch. The small shell instructions is written in the special stitches section of the pattern. The small shell is simply working 3 double crochets into each single crochet down the row. So I did yarn over my hook, go into the stitch, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, draw through 2, yarn over, draw through 2. And I will do that a total of 3 times into that one stitch. You see that? Let's go ahead and make sure my yarn isn't creeping up on me. Then I carry on. It says I will go ahead and work another small shell into the next single crochet. Pretty simple. This is the part where I mentioned it's very similar to like a granny squares type of stitch, where it's just double crochets into a space or a stitch. For this instance, it is into an actual stitch. When we get to the last single crochet, we will place 2 double crochets into that stitch. And we are at the end of our row. So that is the end of row 3. For row 4, we turn our work, we chain 1. We will single crochet in the first double crochet, chain 3, and single crochet in the center stitch of the small shell that we did. So it's going to be this center double crochet. We will place a single crochet. Then we chain 3, go to the next center of the small shell, the center double crochet, and place a single. You go ahead and repeat this all the way down the row for all of the stitches you have. And when you get to the last 2 double crochets, you finish with a chain 3, you skip the next double, and we will single crochet in the top of this chain 3. Remember I said we will be working into that stitch because it counts as a double crochet. So we place a single crochet right there. Now we have finished row 4. We move on to row 5, and it is really simple, so let's go ahead, turn our work, and get started. For row 5, I turn my work and I begin with a chain 4. This counts as our first treble crochet here and throughout. Now I'm going to treble into the first single crochet. So I will yarn over my hook twice, go into the first single crochet, and work my treble. Now I will go ahead and I'm going to work a large shell into the next single crochet. So a large shell, as indicated in the special stitches, is working 3 treble crochets into that single crochet stitch. So I will work my first treble, and then my second. Let's get this yarn out of the way. It's really creeping up on me. And then my third. I will do this all the way down the row into each single crochet stitch until I get to the end. You will notice that as I create each stitch, I hold the stitches itself as it gets made, so that way it doesn't overstretch, and I think that that's very important to notice. When I do my last treble, I'm going to put, or into the last single crochet here, I want to make sure I end with 2 treble crochets. Okay, that's the end of row 5. Now we're ready to move on to row 6, which is the end of all of the row repeats, so let's go ahead and do that. We will turn our work and begin with a chain 1. We single crochet in the first treble crochet. Then we will chain 3, skip all of these stitches, come over here to the large shell we created, and in the center stitch of that large shell, we will make a single crochet. Chain 3, and in the center stitch of the large shell, we do a single crochet. This is very similar to row 4. The only difference here is that we're working into the center treble instead of the center double. When you get to the end of the row where you have the 2 treble crochets, go ahead and chain 3. So I've done my chain 3, and then I will single crochet into the 4th chain of this 4-chain turning chain I did here. That's the treble crochet, and I will do my single. Okay, so as I set this down, see if you can take a look here. This is what it looks like from the wrong side, okay? From the wrong side, we're looking at the backs of these double crochets and the backs of these trebles. From the right side, that's where you really get the nice look of those double crochets and the treble crochet stitch. For the rest of the pattern, you just have to repeat rows 3 through 6 10 times. If you want your poncho a little bit longer, you can do more than 10 times. Just make sure that you do end on a row 6. Once you're finished with the first panel, go ahead and finish it off and weave in your ends. Set that aside. Now you need to make a second panel identical to the one you just completed. Once both panels are done and the ends are woven in, go ahead and match them up, and right up here at the shoulder area, you will seam straight across, leaving yourself an opening for the neck, and you have a poncho that you can wear out to dinner that night. This is a really beautiful poncho, super duper simple stitches, created by Lisa Gentry. I just love her work. She's so fantastic, and I know that you're gonna love this pattern just as much as I do. This uses the Dublin colorway. I would love to see it in the Bangkok colorway like this. I think it would look great with blue jeans. If you do make this poncho, please share with me on social media. I am #MarleyBird, and when you do that, I will be able to find your work and smash your like button. I hope you enjoyed this video and you'll come back here for more knitting and crochet lessons taught by me. I will talk to you again soon. Bye. Hey, thanks for joining me today on the channel. If you want more videos just like that one, check out some of these other videos that I've already handpicked for you. And don't forget to hit subscribe so that way you're up to date whenever I release a new video. And don't forget, smash that like button, as my kids say. Bye guys.